Introduction of environmental studies. The word environment is derived from the French word environ, meaning surrounding. So we all know as environmental means surrounding to us. So the environment is the French word derived from environ, that is surroundings. So everything surrounding to us is called as environment. Each organ is surrounded by materials and forces that constitute its environment. It is an environment from where every organism must derive its requirement. The environment creates favorable conditions for the existence and development of living organisms. The survival of any organisms requires a steady supply of materials and removal of waste products. The natural environment encompasses all living and non-living things. This environment encompasses the interaction of all living species, climate, weather, natural resources that affect human survival and economic activity. So, as this slide explains us, so surrounding environment means our surrounding, and it is complete with the materials and forces together. This both together, we'll say environment. And in environment, we have a lot of organisms and everything, and the environment creates a favorable conditions. So in earth we have a favorable conditions to live, the organisms to live. So this is what environmental studies will be explaining for you. The next is a definition of environmental studies. According to Boring, a person's environment consists of a sum of total of stimulation which he receives from his conception until his death, indicating that environment comprises various types of forces such as physical, intellectual, mental, economic, political, culture, social, moral, and emotional. So, as according to Boring, this is the theory till from our birth to till our death, continuously once we are coming out of to this world, from that to when we go out from this earth. So this in between completely it has been taken care of our environment. We receive everything from our environment. So what surrounding us, it may be physically, intellectually, means teachers are teaching you, and all these things comes from the intellectual, mental, economic, financial support, political supports, cultural things, social, moral, and emotional. According to Dangles and Holland, define the term environment is used to describe in and aggregated all the external forces, influences, and conditions which affect the life, nature, behavior, and the growth, development, and maturity of living organisms. So this is definition of Dangles and Holland. Next is importance of our environmental studies. The importance of environmental studies is that the current trend of environment degradation can be reversed if people of educated communities are organized, empowered, and experts are involved in the sustainable development. So now we have a lot of issues in the environment. So which is we are cutting out the, for our purpose we are cutting down the trees, spoiling of the water and all these things. So these all things, it's a current trend actually. When we are coming to the greenery has been changed to a concrete jungle. Now we all say that word, a very familiar word for us, concrete jungle. This is completely of building. So we are cutting down the trees and all these things we are doing it. So can be this can be done by the educated communities and organized, empowered, and they have empowered and experts involved in sustainable development. Environmental factors greatly influence every organisms and their activities. So not only humans, whoever live inside the earth, this planet. So in this planet, all is being greatly influenced by the environmental factors. At present, a great number of environmental issues has grown in size and complexity day by day, threatening the survival of mankind on Earth. These issues are studies besides giving effective suggestions in the environmental studies. So, a lot of issues from starting. I'm saying is a lot of issues has been there, which has been like every day it is growing. Or maybe we are a global warming. A very big example is a global warming, and our different climatic conditions. Always we used to say in May we'll have a summer, but we have a rainy season also in the summer. So all these been affected by the this whatever we do back to the environment, that will give us this growing each day in as it's going on. So this is what the things happening. Environmental studies have become significant for the following reasons. The environmental studies enlightens about the importance of protection, conservation of our natural resources, indiscriminate release of pollution into the environmental. So which very important when we are studying environmental studies is for to help our environment, how to keep our environment safe. So it is not only for you and me, it is for all of us. There's a responsibility to us to safeguard our environment. So that is what we are going to study in environmental studies. So we'll be studying how to protect our environment, conserving our natural resources, and not releasing too much of pollutions. So now we have seen a lot of traffic because of one person in a car, one person in a bike. So a lot of pollution is happening. So already we have discussed from a lot of years we are hearing the ozone hole in the ozone. So all this happens because of pollution. So we'll study how to safeguard our environment through our environmental studies. So next is environmental issues being an international importance. So now not only in India, throughout our world, we have a problem with the environment. So there is a different conditions, climatic conditions, global warming, snow melting. So a lot of issues are happening now. So all this becomes an international issue, not only one country, one state's issue. It becomes an international issues. So problems crop in the wake of development, explosive increase in pollution, need of an alternative solution, need to save humanity from extinction, need for wise planning of development. So these are the important things. Problems has cropped down the wake of development. So in the name of development, we are cutting down the trees where we don't get a proper rain. And so when we don't have a proper rain, the water level will decrease in the land, water level will decrease. And other than that, increase in pollution. So as already in the last slide we discussed, the pollution. So each one is going in one a car. So there is a pollution is happening where we can cut down through electric bikes, electric cars, and all these things. So this is the thing. An alternative solution is this is what going in a going for a electric things, or else we're using a public transports. If you have a public transports in your area, you can try to use that one. So these are the alternative solutions for environmental issues. And the need, if we don't save our environment now, as we all know, like other some animals have been extinction from the world, the same way humanity will also happen. And how to plan for the development, wise plan. So how we have to plan without cutting down the trees. So now we have a lot of new technologies for that, to taking up the tree from one place and planting in another place. So all these things comes under these things, wise planning. And the next is why we are nature and scope of environmental studies. So as we all look around the area which we live, so just when you look around, we was having a landscape, natural landscape like forest, river, mountains, deserts, and all these things. So we have a lot of different things. In a greenery one part, one side is snowfall, one side we have a big mountains, one side we have a small hills, rivers, lakes, and all these are made up of natural things. It's not a human made things. These are all natural things. So most of us live in a landscapes. We live in a landscapes. Other than that, we have a lot of these things also. So now we are modifying our villages. So once we have a villages everywhere, but we have changed villages into towns, cities. Now the cities also, we have a lot of different cities. Only we were having like metropolitan cities. Now we have cosmopolitan cities also in a list, where you have more population, more pollution, more development, where there more environment is being spoiled. So all these things are the uh, differences what happens where the we have a lot of land. but we live in a landscapes actually. So these the human beings are modifying ourselves. It means we are heavily modifying. As most of us lives in landscape that have been heavily modified by human beings in villages, towns, or cities. So we are modifying. So as we are modifying, we are cutting down the trees. We are closing the lakes nearby. So there we have a big buildings over there. So, but even though those of us who live in cities get our food supply from surrounding villages, and these in turn are dependent on natural resources. So we are always depending on the natural resources. We are eating food. So we have a food chain. This is means we have discussed we have heard it in the smaller classes and also. So food chain. Food chain is where one is dependent on others. So we mostly depend on the vegetarian foods. Maybe we may go for non-veg, but where we more adopted to our where it's very important which we eat every day is rice that is comes from the land. So which is where this rice is being produced in a village farms. So we always when whatever the changes we made in the day-to-day life, maybe in the cities, maybe in the town, but villages are still like very less amount of villages are being there where it has been a they are supplying the food over from there, and these in turn are depend on the natural such as forest, land, grasslands, rivers, seashore. So as I already have said, we have a lot of combinations here. We have forest, we have river, we have lakes, we have ponds, mountains, hills. So all these things are there. Other than that, we have big seas. So where sea water, seas also there. So it's all these are all the natural resources which where we use it. And in this certain things which is grassland where you have to keep your rice paddy where the paddy will grow. So all these that sand that mud it is a natural resources. So these are the things which we are using for, and for agriculture purpose we're using fuel, wood, fodder, and fish. So these all happen, everything is linked. So thus our lives are linked with our surroundings and inevitably affects them. We use water to drink for other day-to-day activities. So every day we are using water in many ways from morning once we get up, from that time to till we go to the bed. So we are using every day the water. So these all happens because of water purpose only. So the next slide goes with the elements of environment. So environment, we have dividing the environment into three different categories. One is environment elements, physical elements, biological elements, and cultural elements. So what is physical element? So physical element includes land, air, water, plants, elements, animals. These all come under the natural physical means buildings and other infrastructures and all their natural resources. So that are provide our basic needs, which is being used for our basic needs are being told as physical elements. Biological elements comes under plants, animals, microorganisms, and we human also includes in the biological elements. And cultural elements includes economic, social, and political condition. In the first slide we have said like social, political, and all these includes into the environment. So cultural elements is the which comes under economic, social, and political environment. Biological element includes with the plants, animals, microorganisms, and we human. And next is physical elements, physical things which is like land, air, water, plants, whatever basic needs and opportunity for social and economical development. So all these comprise with the physical elements. The physical elements also been divided into two categories. There's geographical, this one, and climatic things. So first element of physical is geographical element. Geographical element, it's just like continental location, maritime location, mountain and river valley location, island location, peninsula location, which is listed in a smaller classes. These are comes under the physical. In physical, we have a geographical element. This is what comes under that. Next is topography. So topography is a region plays an important role for the every man. So it may be mountain, plateau, or plain regions that comes under the topography. And the third element is climate, climatic conditions. So it may be summer, winter, a rainy season, like these things. Dry season, summer season, monsoon season, and cold season. And the fourth is mineral elements. Fourth element is minerals, which we get from a land resource, natural resources. So these comes from the with the fourth element. And the fifth element is soil. So we all know which soil is good for what purpose. Maybe these all comes under. So soil means all the basic needs which we get from the things. So it's like interaction between the man and the soil. And the sixth element comes with the rivers, lakes, and coast. So this is the physical physical elements. So physical elements is comprised by six elements. And other than that, when we go with the biological element, biological element, biological factors, natural biological factors such as wild animals, plants, and or plant wild animals and plants or bacteria that affect human life. So these are the things. In this we have three: lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. Three elements of biological elements is lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. And the last element, cultural elements. So as already we said, cultural elements, social, economical, and political. So nationality, religion, language, region, demographic, educations. So all these comprise into the cultural elements. And the last slide is need for public awareness. So why we need awareness? So public awareness, as only we are not going to give only all the things to the government. What we need to do? So everything government need to do, everything and someone have to do is not that thing. So what we need to do to our earth, what we need to do to our environment. So we are also part of an environment. So what we need to do into the environment. So as a natural earth's natural resources are dwelling and our environment is being increasingly degraded by the human activities, it is evident and something needs to be done. So as we need to do something, it has been affecting a lot of issues are being conducted, means happening in the surroundings. So what to do to save our environment. We often feel that managing all this is something that a government should do. So as already we said, so we always put everything on the government, on the head of the government. Let the government take care. We have voted for them. It's not things. Some things we need to do. Some certain things, development part, they will take care. How without spoiling our environment, how our government has been taken care. That as a citizen, we should take care of that. But if we go on endangering our environment, there is no way in which the government can perform all the cleanup functions. It is the prevention of environment degradation in which we must all take part, as we must become a part of our lives just as any disease. So now we are all very much aware of COVID-19. So why this has happened? It is a when we are destroying our things, we are getting all these things. A lot of information are being given, but it is a natural thing happened from a virus. So it's not in our hands, but where we can control, where we should control. Not only this disease, a lot of diseases are coming. Why? When we are destroying our environment, or when we are destroying, so now we are all going back to our olden days foods. So the same way everything is getting back to the old thing. So what we need to do is, only thing is where we can help our environment, where we can save our environment, maybe a wildlife, it's a food chain, or whatever it is, we are being into a system. So that system should be proper, means our home is proper because of us. We should take care of our earth is also like our home. So we are living in a home, so we need to take care of our home. So thank you.